Hey everybody, welcome back to the Junkyard Dog Report. Definitely a tough one the other day against the Kings, especially considering that the Kings didn't have De'Aaron Fox, but it is what it is. Luckily probably the only thing I'm going to say I love in this video, so I might as well use this now. Something I love is that, in the NBA, we get a chance to do it again today. We get a chance to go get it back because the ending that game last night was putrid. But, we can't just stick on that the whole time. So let's start from the top. No Donovan Mitchell for us. No De'Aaron Fox for them. No Kevin Love also for us. Something else kind of cool is that, we play LeBron James and Mike Brown in back-to-back games. Definitely cool, bringing back memories of the old days. But at the same time, we swept the Lakers and the Kings swept us. So, some good and bad there. But let's just get into the game. This game definitely had a lot of runs in it. So the Kings started the game on a 14-5 run, which is also technically an 11-1 run. But we couldn't buy a bucket to start the game. The thing that kind of got us into the game is that we forced a couple 24-second violations in the first quarter, which definitely helped us a lot. But something that was kind of happening all night is that we just kept leaving Keegan Murray open, and a lot of this is on the fact that Evan Mobley had to keep going back to the paint and covering up for someone else, which would leave Keegan Murray wide open, and then he'd shoot a three, and he couldn't miss last night, so that was pretty unfortunate. It was that was definitely tough, but Ev was definitely doing a good job in the first quarter of playing aggressively offensively. In this game, I mean, he's shot 13 shots in this game, which is the most he's shot in a long while. Unfortunately, they weren't going last night for him, but I definitely like the aggressiveness from him. And something interesting in this game, well, it's not that interesting considering Donovan Mitchell is out, so obviously we need some help at the guard position. Raul Neto checked in this game in the first quarter, which he also hasn't done in a while. He's really just been playing garbage minutes lately. So that was definitely good to see. Something that definitely got me fired up in that first quarter is that insane block by Okoro where he came out of nowhere and got that swat. I did not see that coming. I can't lie. That's, I lied. That's something I loved. I'm probably going to use that a couple times, actually. But moving on. We need to be significantly better offensively and defensively than we were in that first quarter. I mean, allowing over 30 points in a quarter is not good. We did it multiple times in this game, but specifically in the first quarter, we allowed 31 points, and we're only able to put up 20, and the Kings couldn't miss, but at the same time, we weren't making them miss, if you know what I mean. Our defense wasn't nearly aggressive enough, and we weren't up in their faces enough in that game, so that was definitely rough. But out of those 20 points in the first quarter, Evan Mobley had 8 of them, which is a good sign. I wish he would have made more shots last night, but I'm just happy he got the shots, to be honest with you. And like I said, we lost the first quarter 31-20. So moving on to the second quarter, the Kings just looked like they wanted it more, to be honest with you. Like every loose ball, every 50-50 ball, every rebound, stuff like that, they were all over the ball, and we weren't throughout this game. We didn't even score our first bucket in the second quarter until there was 9:16 left in the quarter. And it was a great play by Lamar Stevens. I believe DG missed a jump shot. Lamar got the rebound, put it back up, missed, got the rebound again, and put it in. So that was our first bucket of the second quarter. Took a little longer than we wanted, but, at least we got it. And then that bucket, I feel like, empowered our entire team because we went on a 15-4 run, including that bucket. So that definitely started it off for us. Darius Garland was looking like he was starting to catch fire in the second quarter. Unfortunately, that didn't last. The ball movement was great from the time Lamar Stevens made that bucket throughout that run. The ball movement was perfect. There wasn't much to complain about during that run, other than like the one time where Jared Allen spotted up for a three from the corner. I wouldn't really complain about it because he kind of had to. It was kind of like a 9-1-1 situation. But at the same time, it would definitely be cool to see Jarrett make more of those in the future. He didn't make that one, but I'm just saying if he could expand his game out that far, that would definitely be huge for us. But moving on, Sabonis definitely gave our bigs a tough time in this game, whether it be by getting Jarrett into foul trouble. And yes, I agree that a lot of those fouls were very ticky-tack, and not all of them needed to be called. That was definitely very frustrating, considering how many times he went to the free throw line. And I'll get into that stuff when we get into the stats of this game. But it was definitely a little bit ridiculous, definitely annoying to watch. But we also finally we tied the game on a Jetty 3 with like 50 seconds left in the second quarter, which was great because we had been down by as much as 15 in this game. So something that, like, I really didn't like the refs in these games. Like I just said, they were calling a lot of Sabonis ticky-tack fouls. And one play from this second quarter that specifically got me really irked with them was when Herter elbowed LeVert in the face, and they called a foul on LeVert. I just couldn't believe it. I was at a loss for words. I was flabbergasted, gobsmacked. Any one of those words you want to use, I just couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. But, we had great effort, energy, intensity, focus, all those great things in that second quarter to get this game tied. We played fantastic defense. I mean, we won the quarter 29-18, so, like, we held them under 20 after giving up 30 in the first. So that was definitely something I loved. But, I mean, we couldn't keep it up, specifically defensively in this game. We definitely could have been a lot better offensively too, but I believe our entire team's game starts off on the defensive side, and we use the defensive side to get our offensive side going. I've been moving my hands a lot. I hit the mic a couple times. I don't know if you guys heard that, but so when the third quarter started, it was a little back and forth, a little bucket for bucket sort of thing. We got our first lead since it was 4-3 at the beginning of the game with 10 minutes left in the third when we took a 55-54 lead. So that's definitely something positive. But as soon as we took the lead, the Kings said nah, and they went on a 9-3 run. So, I mean, like, it felt like anytime we did something, the Kings not only had a response, but an emphatic response where it just kind of put us on our heels, and it didn't look good. I mean, something that's been annoying that I've brought up before is that Evan Mobley jumps way too much on fakes. Like, there was that play, I believe this is the play I was writing it about, where Delly cut to the rim, and he was going for the layup. Well, he was faking going for the layup, and then Ev jumps, and then Delly just does this, a little dish to Chimezi Metu, who puts it up easy because who else is in the paint to stop him? So I think he's got to realize that Delly's like 6 foot tall. He's 7 foot. Just put your hands up. If Ev just stands there with his hands up like this on that play, that's not a score. That's not a bucket. That's Delly maybe forcing a pass to Metu that gets stolen. Maybe let's just say the pass goes through to Metu after Delly fakes his layup. Then Ev's right there, and Metu's not taking that layup. He's dishing it out to someone else because he can't do anything. So moving on, we responded with a 10-2 run after their 9-3 run and after Ev jumped for no reason. LeVert was playing fantastic defense and offense, specifically in this third quarter. He really carried our team. In my opinion, he looked better than Darius Garland last night. Darius Garland was just very meh in this game, to be completely honest. And like I said earlier, we get another chance at this tonight against the Thunder, so we better take advantage of that. And I'm looking at you, DG, specifically, has to get it going. And then after that 10-2 run, there was a little bit of back and forth. Then we went on a nice 7-1 run. And something that was really cool is that LeVert actually, at that point in the game, had 12 points in just the quarter. I think he finished with more than that in the quarter, probably around 15. But I didn't get that down, unfortunately. The Kings responded with an 8-0 run of their own. And this is what I'm talking about here, where every time we did something, the Kings had a response, which was really frustrating. But something really cool that happened right after that, and something I loved in this game, was that the Kings went on a fast break. I don't remember who had the ball for them. Maybe it was Davion Mitchell. I'm not sure. But the Kings were taking it on a fast break, running down the court fast. Jetty comes out of nowhere and just, bam, swats that. Get that weak stuff out of here, Austin Carr voice. So that was awesome. That definitely fired me up. That's definitely a play that made me feel like we had this game in the bag. Honestly, especially the way LeVert was playing. LeVert had 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists at the end of the third quarter. Unfortunately, he finished with 22, 6, and 6. So he got 1 more rebound and 3 more points in the fourth quarter, which is unfortunate. And I haven't even said the score for this quarter yet. We won the quarter 31-30, and it's always good to win a quarter, but I'm specifically looking at the fact that we gave up 30 points again. Like, we came into this game with the first defense, number 1 ranked defense in the league. The Kings came in with, I believe, the number 2 scoring offense in the league. So I'm not saying it's not a tough matchup, but considering that their scoring was outdoing our defense, it's definitely really frustrating. Moving on, the fourth quarter. My first note for the fourth quarter was that DG needs to step up because DG had a rough game last night. He shot, I believe, 7 for 17, and he only had 6 assists, which is the amount LeVert had. And to be honest with you, LeVert looked like the better floor general last night, which is insane to say for me. Because if there's one thing about Darius Garland, it's that when his shot isn't going, he's supposed to orchestrate this offense, right? If we're going to put this team in terms of an orchestra, I guess you could say Donovan Mitchell is like the piano because there's only one of him and no one else does what he does and whatever. DG is, well, we'll get to DG later. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are like your first leading instrument in whatever 2 instruments are most important outside of your piano. And then you got DG supposed to be leading the orchestra. He's supposed to be this guy going like this, making beautiful music with the ball in his hands. And he doesn't always have to score to do that. Like, get it to your piano man, get it to your leading trumpet, your leading trombone, whatever the hell. But he's supposed to orchestrate this offense specifically on his off nights. I want to see DG getting like 12 assists on an off night. And the thing I'm really worried about with him is that he hasn't been efficient lately. Like, that's the thing about DG that was so great about him last year is that he didn't need to take many shots to put up like 30, 20 points, whatever it is. So moving on, we started this quarter with a nice 13-2 run, which was awesome. But then you look at the fact that we only scored 15 in the quarter, and then it's not so awesome. So this quarter was definitely dominated by the Kings. Definitely a rough quarter. Definitely showed how much worse we are at closing, specifically offensively, without Donovan Mitchell on the court, right? Because the thing about Donovan Mitchell is that when the stage is its highest and the lights are brightest, that's when he steps up. And that just happens to be most of the time in the fourth quarter because that's when the stage is at its peak for that game. That's when the lights are brightest because that's when winning time is and all those things. So not having Donovan Mitchell is definitely rough, but DG was that guy for us last year. He was. When we needed a bucket, he was able to go out and get it. And I don't know if he's second-guessing himself, overthinking it, because whether it would be him getting us a bucket by putting it in the basket himself or him finding the open guy, he just wasn't doing that last night. And he really hasn't been doing it that well this season. He's averaging 8 assists per game, so he's definitely getting it done when we need him to, but I don't think he's been dishing it as well without Donovan Mitchell on the floor. And he needs to stop. I feel like he's trying to be Donovan Mitchell 2.0, and I think he needs to stop doing that, and he just needs to be Darius Garland because that's what we need from him. So moving on. Sorry about that. I just hit the mic again like a dummy. The Kings went on a 19-0 run to finish this game. We didn't score from the 4:51-minute mark until the end. So absolutely disgusting, absolutely putrid. And something else frustrating is that Darius Garland got hit in the face again, specifically in the eye that wasn't injured. So his left eye, I believe, is the one. Yeah, it is. That's droopy, and he got hit in the right eye by Sabonis. And I know it was winning time. I know the game was still close. I know you don't want to risk getting a foul specifically for like a guy like Jared Allen, who had 5 at that time. But at the same time, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Somebody needs to step up and have DG's back. That's our point guard. Show that him getting hit in the face is not something we're going to accept. So Enough of that. The Kings beat us 27-15 in that fourth quarter. So another almost 30-point quarter. Probably could have been 30, but, at the end of the game, we were just dribbling it out. So I'll count it as a 30-point quarter because it's only 3 points away. That's basically 3 30-point quarters we allowed in this game, and we only scored 95 points. So we're talking about 3 quarters where the Kings had, they scored 31 in the first, 30 in the second, 27 in the fourth, right? So that is 88 points. That's 88 points, and we had 95. So they scored 7 less than us in 3 quarters. That's pathetic. But moving on, because we have another chance to do this tonight. We can't dwell on this too much. So moving on to the quotes. What JB had to say about what happened to the offense down the stretch, he said, nothing. That's it. And he also said, we didn't do a good job of closing, which is absolutely factual. What JB had to say about LeVert's big night was, I thought he made some, great plays attacking the rim. I thought he did a great job of finding his teammates. I thought he was pretty solid all around. And, I feel like JB stormed off after he was asked a question during his post-game presser because I had the post-game presser on because I just, was so bothered by the way the game ended that I just didn't move, and I just didn't turn off the stream or anything. I was just on my phone ignoring it. And JB usually has longer press conferences, and I didn't watch the press conference live. I got these notes this morning, but he just walked off after not very long being up there. And if you go to the Cavs YouTube, his press conference is 1 minute. You go to the Bally Sports, it's 1 minute. And that's very unnatural for JB. So if anyone knows what question he was asked before potentially storming off, or if if he did storm off, please let me know, because, that's definitely what it seemed like to me. Moving on, what Jetty Osman had to say about the 19-0 run the Kings went on to finish the game. He said, I think defensively, we let them just get comfortable in those last 4 minutes. And he's absolutely right. Something else he had to say about this was, we can't lose our concentration and we can't get out of the system because, like I said, we know that they have shooters and we let them have open threes. And, we also had a lot of silly turnovers in this game, specifically at the end of the game, specifically looking at you, Darius Garland, overthinking and trying to do too much at the end of the game when it was still close. Not trying to hate on him. He wasn't doing that last year, so I think he's just overthinking it and overdoing it. But moving on, what Jetty had to say about the silly turnovers was, I think especially in those last couple of minutes, we made a couple crucial turnovers and, we could have shot the ball. And I think he was specifically talking about DG here, and I don't think he was trying to throw shade. I think it is what it is. That's how it was. That's how it went down. But moving on, what LeVert had to say about his big night, he said, I had a couple tough plays late in the game that I wish I could have back, but I think it was a pretty complete game other than that. And I love how he was asked about how he had a big game, because he did. He had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. That's a great game. But he was more focused on getting some plays back at the end of the game where, we could have won it. I honestly felt like we had this game won when we went on that 13-2 run in the fourth. So I really like that LeVert doesn't care about his big night. He cares more about the fact that he wished he could have some of those plays back from that fourth quarter in that game. And moving on, somebody asked him how he could even relish how well he played considering the loss. And what he said about that was, I got to do a better job of, giving more when I'm playing less minutes. And that's something I'm working on. And, I have nothing but love for LeVert. Man has done nothing else but what he's been asked. He's never complained. He's never cried about it. He started at the 3 when he's a natural 2. He's focused on rebounding. He's focused on assists. He's been the scorer. And he was all those things last night. So LeVert, it's going to take some time, but he's going to find his role on our bench, and he's going to be good for us by the end of the year. I would stake my reputation, if I even had one on it, that LeVert is going to be a guy that we all applaud and we all cheer by the time the postseason comes around. Moving on to his last quote, they asked him about how he felt playing the 2 rather than playing the 3, which he was playing earlier in the year, and he said, "I feel more comfortable playing the 2 for sure." And it's his natural position. It makes sense that he would feel more comfortable playing the 2. It's what he's been playing his whole career from the beginning until now, so makes sense. Let's get into the stats of this game. Okay, so the big 3 out of 4, because Donovan Mitchell didn't play, had 46 points, and the rest had 49. Shout out to Cedi Osman and Karis LeVert, who had 39 of those 49. Cedi had 17, LeVert had 22, and if we won this game, one of those 2 was going to get the Junkyard Dog chain. So unfortunate for them that they didn't get to enjoy that because we choked this game away. Moving on, rebounds. The big 3 had 17, and the rest had 19. And great effort by Lamar Stevens and Karis LeVert, who had 14 of those rebounds. Lamar had 8. Karis LeVert had 6, like I said before. Jarrett only had 8 rebounds, but he was out with foul trouble a lot. Ev only had 7 rebounds, and he played over 40 minutes, so definitely not a good look there, especially considering that Domantas Sabonis had 18 rebounds and our big 3 had 17. So moving on, the big 3 had 11 assists, 6 from Darius Garland, 4 from Evan Mobley, and the rest had 9. And like I said, 6 of those were from LeVert, who was arguably our best floor general last night. For steals, the big 3 had 3, 2 for DG, 1 for Ev. The rest had 4. Cedi Osman, who had 3, and Raul Neto had 1. And Raul was playing some good defense last night. I definitely like to see him play more. But it's definitely tough with the level of guards we have on this team and the amount of guards we have on this team. So definitely good to see him playing when he can. Moving on, the big 3 had 2 blocks, and those were both Jared Allen. And the rest had 2 blocks, and those were the 2 amazing, fantastic, perfect blocks from Cedi Osman and Okoro, which were electric, and they definitely lit a spark under this team. And here's the most arguably disgusting part of the game. So for turnovers, the league averages around 14. So our big 3 had 15 turnovers in this game. 6 for Darius Garland, 5 for Jared Allen, 4 for Evan Mobley, and the rest had 4. And that was 4 different players who had 1 turnover. So, I mean, Darius Garland had 6 assists and 6 turnovers in this game, which is pretty bad. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. And if you're talking about like a quarterback, because he is the quarterback of this offense, having a 1 touchdown to 1 interception ratio is not very good. And in the NBA, it's not very good either. So I just think it's pathetic. I think our big 3 was all out of sorts without Donovan Mitchell to lead the way last night. And it's unfortunate. I think if Jared Allen played more, maybe we win this game, because he's a guy whose mere presence and effort definitely inspires this team, in my opinion. But it is what it is. And moving on to the plus-minus. Raul Neto led the way. He was +4 in 17 minutes and 29 seconds. Lamar Stevens was +1 in 25 minutes and 40 seconds. And that's it for the pluses. Everyone else is in the negative. So Evan Mobley was -4 in 40 minutes and 37 seconds. Cedi was -4 in 35 minutes and 2 seconds. Okoro was -8 in 17 minutes and 32 seconds. Jared Allen was -10 in 32 minutes and 3 seconds. Darius Garland was -13 in 35 minutes flat. And LeVert was -21, 36 minutes and 37 seconds. And I don't think LeVert played as bad as the plus-minus says. I think he just happened to be on the floor during that 19-0 run the Kings went on. So definitely a tough game. We'll get into the field goal percentage now. We shot 43% from the field, 34 for 79, 33.3% from 3, 10 for 30, and another game under 80% from the free throw line, 77.3%. We were 17 for 22 from the free throw line. And I told you I was going to get to the fact that it was annoying me, the free throws in this game. And this is what was annoying me. So Sabonis was 8 for 14 from the free throw line, and Harrison Barnes was 7 for 10 from the free throw line. And if you just added up those numbers, you know, like I know, that those 2 players shot 24 free throws and our team shot 22. So that is definitely very frustrating. Sabonis got a lot of those calls because of how physical he is in the paint. So, I mean, it was... Let's forget about this game, all right? Let's Let's just get into the Thunder tonight. Let's beat the Thunder. Let's do what we're supposed to do, all those good things. And I'm upset because I honestly really wanted to use this because I felt like at one point we did kind of drop a Cavalanche on them in this game. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for us last night. So until next time, which will be tomorrow, keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs.